There's no hiding place when someone has hurt you.
The single that I took control of my life back. I had just come off a high-end roller coaster, celebrity romance with D'Angelo. But the song is not about D'Angelo. The song is about my son. At the birth of my son was when I was able to let go of all the pain. And the reason I was able to let go of it, because I know he was a blessing in my life. I had been dating him for so long, and I never saw that coming. So when my son was born, something spectacular happened. And I just knew my sunshine is coming, and I'm all cried out. There's no more rain in this cloud. That was because that little boy changed my life.
Oh.
So no matter what people may think is not about D'Angelo, it's about my son.
No more rain in this cloud.
And the song has a connection to another Atlanta singer.
It's sad to think
Gladys Knight and her song, Neither One of Us Wants to Say Goodbye.
neither one of us wants to be the first to say.
Just so you know how that 8-bar sample was used in the
Yes.
very beginning. I was waiting on a couple of people to come to the studio to work with me that day. They didn't show up. So I had paid for the studio time, and I had to do something with the time. So I went to the record store, and I bought all these records. I said, I gotta figure out what I want to write. And I heard that boom, 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 and it just hit me. I said, that's it. I sampled that little piece, and everything else I played live myself. And I remember Rex Rideout, who was next door, he coming over and said, what about hearing?
I did not know that about that song.
Yeah, yeah.
So when you met Gladys, because you know this is Gladys's home,
Right.
What did she say?
Well, Gladys, I did a tribute to Gladys with Yolanda Adams and Deborah Cox. And
When was this? I missed that.
you could probably find it on YouTube somewhere, but they called 3 of us to do a tribute to Gladys. And it was so funny because I opened up my mouth and go, it's sad to think. And the whole place, just lit up because we have a similar tone.
You do.
And when I finished doing that, I fused my song into the song. And I had so many people run up to me and say, oh my God, if they ever do the Gladys Knight show, you have got to do the soundtrack. Oh my God, you got, and I was like, really? You know, but she was flabbergasted. She stood up because it was so close to sounding like her that I think she understood for the first time that I would pay tribute to her because I loved her. She was one of my biggest inspirations. She along with Betty Wright.
Oh, I love me some Betty Wright.
You know, that's my girl. She's a sage too, and she just straight to the point. You already know how she get down. She got down.
You look like $1,000,000, and you turned
thank you.
60 in December.
I turned 60 years old, yes.
Oh my goodness. So tell me, what is different about Angie Stone at 60 from Angie Stone at maybe 30?
Well, I think life's challenges have taught me at 60 that you don't have to have everything all the time. You have to choose life. You have to choose joy. You have to choose desire. And what I've decided to do, instead of working so hard to help other people and working so hard to, you know, be accepted by people, I decided to work really hard in being better to myself, because I think that we run ourselves down trying to be whatever we can be for everyone else. And somewhere along the line, we forget about ourselves.
My mother used to say that all the time, you know, Monty, you can't be all things to all people.
And we always try. My dad would say, Angie, you can't please everybody all the time. And that's what we try to do. And when I made the conscious decision, once I was fighting diabetes and I was living out loud, but I wasn't happy because I knew I was dealing with, you know, people would see the smiling face. They would see me going hard at my career. But what they didn't see was the pain and the tears that I cried whenever I walked past the mirror because I was overweight, because of the diabetes, because of everything that I went through. I was on steroids for 12 years, which caused the gestational diabetes. So, you know, for me, the pain was real. And when I went home and I cried, nobody saw that because I was fearless. I was tough. So I didn't want people to ever see me break. You know what I mean? And I would break to the point where I had to make a change so that I would be happy. And right when I started to get happy, this during pandemic came. Okay.
Wouldn't you know it?
Okay.
Wouldn't you know it? You said in 2021, when you were part of the Black Music Honors, you received the Soul Music Icon Award.
Yes.
Soul Music Icon Award. When you hear someone define you that way, how does it make you feel?
Oh God, to be defined that way is, for me, it was unbelievable because I came up in the industry with the Whitney Houstons, the Alicia Keyses, and being overweight, being, you know, talented was not enough. You needed to be more. And because of health reasons, I could only go as far as I could go. So when I hear icon, I'm like, are you really talking about me? Because as hard as it's been for me, why would anybody give me an icon award? And like I said, I stopped making it about me at those times, and it was about the people. I had really accepted the fact that if my concerts were good and people walked away happy, my job was done. So I learned to not expect anything extra. Just do what I had to do with the gift God had given me and be okay with it. And so a lot of settling for what I was going through was what was important for me.
One of the things she says is most important to her right now is her foundation, Angel Stripes. The emphasis is on services to senior citizens. She's gearing up to help them again during elections.
Well, when Barack Obama ran for president, I went in like a turbo booster, and I went around. I got some of my friends to help me get some limousine services and sponsors so that I could go to some of the senior citizens' homes and buildings because they never get to go out. They never get to vote. And this was a very, very important election. And I'm like, we need every head count we can get. And that was the beginning for me because it went so smoothly, and I enjoyed doing it. I look at seniors as babies. Even though they've lived a lifetime, something about them goes back to that innocence. And I just don't think that their life is over because they're aging. I think they've gotten better and they deserve to be pampered.
And then the program putting neighbor back in the hood.
Okay, we've got to do that because it's very important that we become our brothers, mothers, uncles' keeper. We have got to, as a neighborhood, look out for each other. They used to laugh at me because I always try to give the homeless something. But I'm like, you never know when you're entertaining angels unaware.
So you know I got to get nosy.
Come on.
So are you dating anyone? And if you are dating anyone, would you date anyone in the business again since your husband was in the business?
Okay,
And
now,
D'Angelo was in the business?
well, I'll put it to you this way. Through life, we go through a lot of different channels. When I got married, I was only 22. I wasn't ready for marriage. I married, you know, I'm from South Carolina, and the Bible Belt
Oh, yes.
that was over me was like, okay, you're pregnant. You can't have this baby without, you know, in wedlock. So I married for all the wrong reasons. There was always love there, but I married for the wrong reasons. So that didn't last very long because I was too young to understand how important marriage should be. By the time I did find true love, which I thought was with D'Angelo, I was so caught up in my group, Vertical Hole, and traveling and touring and being a super mom, trying to make up for the things that I didn't get to do for my daughter because my parents had to help me with my daughter. I was 22 or 23 when I had my daughter, so they stepped in to help me. When I got with D'Angelo is when I found true love. And as a result, that was going great until he became a superstar, something that I saw coming a mile away, but I didn't care about that because I wasn't in love with the superstar, I was in love with Michael. And as a result, I had to make a conscious decision to be okay with the outcome. As hard as it was, it felt like a death. The next relationship that I had gotten into was one that I refused to go public with. I was dating, I won't say dating, but I was very connected to a brother for about 10 years, right here in Atlanta.
Kept it under the radar.
I kept it under the radar. Now, that was the one that I was dating, Ashanti, who was my manager. I had put in 8 years, 8.5, almost 9 years with him. And that was the man I thought I would marry. And we did wife swap. There's a lot of things that I found out along the way that changed my perception of love and trust. And the reason I say that is because when I lived in California, I met him. And he used to fly to California all the time to see me. And of course, I didn't do any investigation or who is this person, how is this person, because I wasn't thinking that way. I'm country, so I'm Southern. I'm like, okay, it feels good, it must be right. Besides, I had been celibate for 3 years because I was waiting on God to direct me to the right man. I didn't want to choose anymore, so I felt like God had chose him for me. And then he went ahead and cheated on me. And the straw that broke the camel's back was he cheated with someone that came in my home while I was out working. And that was, to me, the ultimate violation. And as hard as it was for me to walk away, I walked away. Of course, you know, they come back crawling and begging, which he did on several occasions, but I'm a Sag, and I'm like, I don't go backwards. So at that time, I decided, you blew it. And so after that, I decided I would never let anyone know who I was seeing. And because people are cruel, and they do stupid stuff. And so I dated someone after him that nobody ever really knew about. And it was a wonderful, wonderful friendship. I'll say friendship, because I wouldn't allow it, or we wouldn't allow it to go beyond that, because we loved each other enough and respected each other enough to protect each other. And so after that, I took really ill after I got caught COVID. My mom died from COVID. I got really sick, and that caused me to move away from him completely. And I shut down because I did not want him to see me sick and go through all of that with me. So I haven't dated anybody since then because I'm still waiting on Mr. Right.